We are picking up where we left off at cross-tabulation total percentages. If you're following along on the Excel sheet I provided, click on the Row tab at the bottom to get to our next section. As a reminder, there are instances, particularly with independent and dependent variables, when either row or column percentages are much more useful than total percentages. Let's take a look and see how this plays out with row percentages. Here is the same set of cross-tabulations with the total percentages deleted. If we want to calculate row percentages, what we are doing is treating each row as a distinct frequency distribution. So instead of using the total sample size for the n in the percentage formula, we're now using our row total as the n. So for those who have a negative body image, the formula will be 100 times the cell we're interested in over the total n for that row. So in this case, it'll be over 650. Let's plug in the formula. And I'm going to insert dollar signs because I know already that I'm going to try to drag the formula over to the next cell. Equals 100 times the frequency over this time the total n for this row. I'm going to insert dollar signs. And I'm going to press enter. So there we go. I'm going to move this over. And now we have our percentages for this row. And I'm going to repeat this process for the other row. And I'm putting it over a different n this time because the positive row has a different total than the negative row. So this time I'm on over the positive n. Okay. All right. And what you may notice is that your percentages along the row will total 100. There we are. Okay, so in both cases, our percents in each column on the row do total to 100. Let's add the percentages along the columns to see what they add up to. And if you will recall, to do this, we're going to need to hold down on the control button. So I'm going to click 16, hold down on the control button, click on 5, and add those together. You will notice that the number 20 came up and it was 16 plus 5, and that's because these numbers actually go out to some amount of decimals. And so this is just a decimal addition difference, and we just won't worry about that too much. We're going to add this other column. Okay, you will notice that when you add your row percentages along the column, they do not equal 100%. This is one way to confirm what type of percentage you've just calculated. Row percentages add up to 100 in the rows, so these are row percentages you've just calculated. The purpose of row percentage is to compare percentages in rows. So we can say that the percentage of app use among those with a negative body image is 16%. In other words, 16% of those with a negative body image did indeed use the app. And the percentage of app use among those with a positive body image is 5%. We could also make the following comparison with non-app use. The percentage of non-app use among negative body image is 84%, and the percentage of non-app use among those with a positive body image is 95%. In these row comparisons, we're focusing on how app use varies according to body image. you will notice that both the positive and negative body image rows equal 100%. And the differences that make up that 100% are in the app use. If you will recall, the dependent variables vary as a result of an independent variable. Does this mean that body image is an independent variable and that app use is a dependent variable? We'll talk more about this relationship later. For now, tune into the third lecture in this series on column percentages in cross-tabulations. That video will also include a review of all three forms of cross-tab percentages.